What's up, YouTube? It's Young Man's Daily Red Pill back with another video. Thank you guys for clicking on today's video. Before we get started, let's get those likes up, let's get the subscriber numbers up, and let's share this video to anyone that might need it by the end of this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts as we move along. Very interesting article we're going to read, and it comes from a subscriber request in the comment section. Remember, guys, if you have any video topics or any articles you want me to discuss, you can either email them to me, you can join the Patreon for the fastest results, or you can leave it in the comment section. But usually, it takes me a while to sift through the comments to find them, so it's just best if you directly message me what you want me to talk about. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the dating market as a black man living in the West, living in the United States. I am biracial, so I have a little bit of experience in that sense, but honestly, I've looked pretty light-skinned. I'm pretty light-skinned. My mom's white, my dad's black, so it's really difficult for me to give a fair assessment, because I believe in this article they are talking about my dark-skinned brothers that are out there, and I understand completely that is a totally different dating experience. All right, guys. So with no further ado, I just want to read this comment from a subscriber. I think it's very interesting, and he wanted me to follow it up with an article that he linked below. So let's first read his comment, and then let's dive into the article. And I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Maybe you are a black man living in the West and you can relate to this. Maybe you can't relate to it. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts. So he goes in and says, "Hey YMZRP, I've been subscribed to your channel since you started making videos in your car. I'm one of your biggest fans, and I want to truly thank you for all you do for us men, especially black men. I was wondering if you could do a short video on this recent study by the University of California on how black men are ignored in the online dating market. This study was published days ago, and even I must say the results are shocking, and I feel like black men need to wake up and see the truth. That's why we went to the red pill." All right. And a large majority of black men that are in this community are red pill. All right. They found the community through the red pill. A lot of black men have taken the red pill. That's the majority of channels that I see out there. And you're doing God's work if you do have a channel, if you're putting your face out there, and if you have a message to share and you're helping young men. I lived 19 years in a culturally diverse city in Jacksonville, Florida, and now live in Buenos Aires, Argentina, where black people make up less than 3% of the population. I'm 25 with a degree. I make fairly decent money, strong muscular body from working out. I dress in formal attire, pretty good seductive game, and I'm overdosed on red pill, so I'm always on point when it comes to women. Thanks to you, AMS, Dr. BOA, and more. Here in Argentina, I can't get a date with a solid 4, and I refuse to pay a woman for intimacy because I know my value as a high value / quality man. On online dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, and Happen, I get not one match. Not one. He puts in all caps. 99% of the girls are non-black. The large majority are very beautiful Latinas with blonde hair and blue eyes. No matter how hard I try to focus on my self-improvement and stay on my path and my purpose, it hurts knowing that us black men are devalued in the dating and online dating market due to social conditioning. There's even a term here called, excuse me if I pronounce this wrong, mejorar la raza, which translates roughly to whiten the race. Ooh. The only reason slavery was abolished here in Argentina in the 1800s was so they could kick out all the Africans, so they would not procreate with their women. He puts that in all caps. So he goes on and says, if this was happening in the early 1800s, imagine now in 2021. This applies to North America as well. I've lived my whole life in Jackson Beach, Florida, and also know the women out there are no different. Hypergamy, materialism, narcissism, social conditioning, technology, and the rise of social media, and the fact that 90% of men are chimpanzees. We black men are not needed in the dating market. Guess we will go someplace where we are celebrated and not tolerated. Here are my sources for the haters and naysayers. And he drops the link to the article discussing what it's like dating as a black man in the West. And it sounds like even in Argentina, there's issues going on there. But with no further ado, guys, we're going to check out this article. And yes, I believe that if you are not being celebrated where you are, no matter what race you are, it is best to move to a place where you are celebrated and accepted. Because who wants to live life where it's not, where they don't feel accepted, where they feel left out, where they feel out of place, where they feel like they're unwanted. You know, I certainly wouldn't want to feel that way. Like, I can't think of anyone that would. With no further ado though, let's read this article. All right guys, so we're in the article. I will post the link in the description if you want to follow along, if you want to read this article, you want to share this article to someone, or you want to share this video. I would appreciate it if you did share the video, because then I get the viewership. Plus people will be introduced to this channel in general, and I'm taking time out of my day to do this. But with no further ado, let's break down this article. Let's talk about it. You know, there is a large portion of the manosphere of the red pill community. I'd say it's more than the white side or the Latino side, whatever other sides there are, ethnic groups that happen to be African American, happen to be black. So I think this does shed light on a very interesting topic that can be discussed, that can be broken down, and I think there's some truth in this article. All right guys, it's really sad to realize this, but you know, this is a pro-truth channel, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this, especially if this brother's saying it and other people are agreeing with him. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Dating while black, online but invisible. And this is written by 3 different authors, all right? And one of them happened to be an author of The Dating Divide, Race and Desire in the Era of Online Romance, because majority of relationships and dating is now online, all right guys? The majority of it is online. It's on dating apps like this guy was talking about. And you know, you can be very limited because a lot of it has to do with your looks or how you present yourself to the online world. So that's one aspect of the whole dating app thing that I'm actually not a fan of. Dating apps and websites have become the most popular way Americans meet new people, and the only way to do so during the pandemic. Yet for many black Americans, these apps never fulfill their promise. Despite hours of scrolling, clicking, swiping, and answering personality questions, they often find that they are isolated on these apps as they were in a bar or at a party. The only difference is that they now serve their own drink. The green dot on the screen indicates that they are online, but their profiles appear invisible to everyone else. Gendered racism on dating apps is not news. In writing our book, The Dating Divide, Race and Desire in the Era of Online Romance, we conducted 77 interviews as well as statistical analysis of how millions of daters interact or ignore one another to understand how race has profoundly shaped online interaction. What we found is that race overwhelms many other variables in determining whether two people talk to each other, and black men and women daters were particularly discriminated compared to other minority daters. Sad, guys. While black Americans experience implicit and explicit discrimination on many social settings, there's something different on dating apps. With the abundance of options and emphasis on visual cues and the need for speed, many black online daters feel that they are most judged based on their appearance and racial background. One of our interviewees, Sandra, a bisexual black woman, told us, "Even when I match with others, I still wouldn't get a response. I'm a dark-skinned black woman. Is that it? I have natural hair and have had natural hair long before the natural hair movement. Could that be it?" Monica, a straight black woman, shared a similar sentiment. "Online dating makes me feel like kind of the way I felt in school, that I'm invisible and hyper invisible. And I think it really is very much a white woman's market. So I feel like all the biases that people have outside in the real world, it just comes into effect or comes into play when you're online dating. All right, guys, this is why I tell you guys, online dating is not the best route to go. All right, it's a waste of time. A lot of these women are there to waste your time. And even if you're a woman online, you know, it is based on looks for the most part. And these guys are just trying to have one night stands. And a lot of women get upset when I say that, but that's just the honest truth. Like, they're expecting these long-term relationships when, you know, these guys are on dating apps to hook up, you know, and sometimes they work, but majority of time, you know, that's what they're there for. And you will be judged on your appearance, how you look, unfortunately. We live in a very superficial, materialistic world. I'm not saying I'm a fan of it. That's just the type of world we live in. And, you know, I'm not a fan of it, but this is where we're headed. And a lot of it has to do with your image that you put out. And a lot of times, unfortunately, people don't even really care about what your bio says. Sometimes they read it, but honestly, it's usually just a picture and they swipe left or swipe right. They don't read the bio until after they match with you. That's the unfortunate truth. Like, you're extra sex, UAL, and promiscuous. There's so many different stereotypes about black women that I feel like come to play and how people approach me, and I guess other black women on these platforms. All right, so basically they're saying that usually black women have the reputation for being hyper sexual on dating apps. And you know, I personally, because I am biracial, I do date within the race, and I would say that, you know, it's about 50-50. However, I have realized that more black women are quicker to do certain things for me in an intimate way than other women of other races usually. Okay, that is just my perspective, my opinion, and just my life experiences with dating black women and being in relationships with some. For both Sandra and Monica, online dating does not provide an opportunity for them to be seen as who they are. Their experiences are shaped by a predictable set of racialized and gendered stereotypes that deprive them of individuality. They are seen as black women foremost and often ignored by others. Our statistical analysis shows that white straight men are 4 times more likely to message a white woman than a black woman. Even when the two women share otherwise similar characteristics, white straight women are twice as likely to respond to white men compared to black men. Interestingly enough, I live here on the West Coast, I live in California, and it seems like, to be honest, a lot of the white women want to actually be with black guys. So I'm not sure what the rest of the United States is looking like, the rest of the West. However, here where I live, it's completely different than what they're saying. But you know, they've done case studies on this, so you kind of got to listen to what they're saying. They've done more research than I have in my personal experience. In cases where white daters decide to message or respond to black daters, we also found that race continued to shape each step of the encounter. Damien, a 24-year-old gay man, described to us how his sexual encounter with white men usually goes. Race is always brought into it. Whenever they say they want to flirt you, they always mention, for example, I want your black ding dong or something like that. They always put black before anything. Black hands, black muscles, things like that. Black bodies, they always do that. I'm sure within white races, when you get into bed with your partner, you don't say, I want your white, fill in the blank. Michael, a straight black man, has the same experience. There's always this expectation of prowess in bed. So there's that expectation of he's kind of thug. I'm kind of a nerd. Some of these expectations, they're wrong to have. It's not like any of us see a white woman and we're like, yo, she could do my taxes. It's a good one. Many black women told us that the interest from white men is often sexual in nature. Alicia, a Jamaican American, told us, certain white guys I talk to online, they're like, I never had intimacy with a black girl. Imagine having intimacy with you. I said to them, is that all you want? They respond, I don't know, maybe. I'm just like, okay, this is uncomfortable. One guy said, I don't think we'll date, but I just want to be intimate with you because I never had intimacy with a black woman. Trying to paraphrase here. It felt so uncomfortable. I was just so annoyed and it made me very upset. I was just like, what the heck? That's why I don't date a lot of them online, because I get a lot of that too. Yeah, yikes. Black ladies that are watching, let me know how your experience in the dating market is. Love to hear your thoughts. Is this real? Interactions like these harkened back to the Jezebel, the controlling image of the sexually aggressive black women that served as a powerful rationale to exclude black women from meaningful relationships. Alicia and other black women daters' words are stark reminders that their online dating experiences are segmented by race and gender, and the difficulties that black women face when utilizing dating apps is indeed a collective struggle. Compared to white daters, black daters tend to have more inclusive and progressive thinking about race and dating. And this is especially true for black women. Our statistical analysis shows that black women are as likely to respond to white men's messages compared to black men's messages. What's up with that, ladies? Come on. However, does not mean that black women are colorblind when crossing the racial divide. Nina, a black Floridian, a couple months ago, I liked this white guy on Bumble. He tells me I love black women. I could tell that he's the type that dates black women. But he was like, I don't like when black people say Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. We had a discussion about it. Then after that, I was just like, yeah, that don't make any sense to me. Then I just stepped back. As Nina pointed out, a willingness to date black women often does not mean an embrace for racial justice. One can, quote unquote, love black women without seeing the struggle black women experience on a daily basis. Alicia is also acutely aware of this difference. When sharing her experience conversing with white men she met on an online dating app, she said, well, I had a conversation with him and was just like, but I'm a black woman. If you date me, there's certain stuff you're gonna have to know. He was like, I don't care. I'm gonna be there for you, blah, blah, blah. I just wasn't convinced, you know. I just felt like when you see a red flag, I said, what if we had kids together? Do you realize because you're white, that doesn't mean your kids are not gonna face what I go through? For Alicia, the confidence of this white man indicates little more than ignorance. Even though he sees that she's a black woman, he has little understanding of her life experiences. In 2020, many major dating services spoke out against racism, making donations, allowing their users to add Black Lives Matter badges to their profile, and some removing the ethnicity filters from their platform. Yet these companies never disclose whether these gestures in fact reduce the racism on their platforms. A place where black daters continue to be ignored, humiliated, and objectified. These dating companies should tell us whether removing the filters indeed lessen the isolation of black daters on their platform. Is there more they can implement to address racism on their platforms? Equally important, what can daters themselves do to really see others for who they are beyond a racial category? It is time for us to use this technology for good and not for reproducing centuries of racism. So that's going to do it for the article. I think a lot of interesting points were brought up, especially the fact that even in the black community itself, there is a dating divide, all right? Black women don't want to date black men, and it sounds like black men aren't necessarily wanting to date black women as much as in previous years. So there's that divide, as well as, you know, on the Caucasian side with white men, they're not usually wanting to pick black women as their first choice. They would rather date outside of the black race as well. So what do you guys think is going on here? Unfortunately, I think that they can get rid of all the filters they want. They can put up all the Black Lives Matter badges they want and remove ethnicity filters, whatever that means. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, online, especially on dating apps, you have a quick few seconds, 5 seconds at most, because most people spend less than 5 seconds swiping, to look at a person's picture and visually just see their race off rip, and they can make that decision. And it's an unfortunate thing. And, you know, I'm not a fan of it. I think that it's terrible that, you know, a certain ethnic group of people can be left out of maximum dating results. However, I think that if you do match with someone that you find attractive on a dating app, even if it's just 1 or 2 people, you know, you should give those people a chance because they find you attractive, all right? At the end of the day, they swipe right and you swipe right. It might not be your number one choice. It might not be someone that you're used to dating usually, or you would think your family would find weird dating. I'm not even sure why we're still thinking like that. However, I think that a lot of people are trying to just date based on a lot of superficial stuff that doesn't matter in the end. All right, guys. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section below. Drop a like on the video, hit that subscribe button, and share the content. Until next time, it's your boy. Peace. Have a good one. I'm gone.